I never thought a single misstep at work could change everything about me. One careless moment, one glance at my boss's heels while retrieving files, and suddenly, my world had tilted in ways I never imagined. My name is Alex. I'm 28, ambitious, detail-oriented, but slightly clumsy at times, and I had always considered myself just another employee, invisible enough to fly under the radar.
Until today.
It started with a routine assignment. I was filing documents in the manager's office, my mind focused entirely on deadlines, efficiency, and how I could impress without overstepping boundaries. Then I saw them sleek, black, impossibly high heels sitting on the edge of the desk. Something inside me, a mixture of curiosity and sheer intrigue, urged me closer. Before I knew it, I had picked them up, inspecting the shiny material, imagining what it would feel like. That's when she caught me. My boss, Veronica, 34, confident, commanding, and always impeccably dressed, stepped into the office. Her heels clicked authoritatively against the floor, echoing in the silence, and my heart leapt painfully. "Alex," she said, voice calm but sharp, eyes narrowing. "What are you doing?" I froze, heels still in my hands. I was just curious, I stammered, knowing immediately how weak that sounded. Her gaze lingered on me, piercing, calculating. Then, slowly, almost imperceptibly, she smiled. It wasn't friendly. It wasn't harsh. It was deliberate, a quiet acknowledgement that she had already decided something about me I hadn't even considered. "Curiosity," she murmured, "can be enlightening. Or it can be transformative. Don't you think, Alex?" Before I could respond, she gestured toward the heels. "Try them. Just for a moment. See how it feels. Balance, presence, posture. It's simple, really." I laughed nervously, thinking this was a test or a joke. I don't think." "Now," she interrupted, her tone leaving no room for negotiation. Her eyes held mine with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. "Alex, put them on." I hesitated, unsure, aware that the polished leather against my fingers, the height, the impossibility of balance, it was intimidating. But something inside me stirred. Curiosity, fear, anticipation, excitement, a strange thrill of rebellion against my usual self. I knelt, slipping my feet into the heels, and immediately felt a shift in posture, in awareness, in perception. Veronica stepped closer, her gaze scanning my form with precise calculation. "Good," she said softly. "Hold yourself. Every step, every sway, every glance matters. Confidence is everything, but balance is earned." I took a tentative step, then another. The heels clicked loudly against the floor, each sound echoing authority, exposure, vulnerability. Veronica watched, expression unreadable, then nodded once. "Interesting," she said. "You have potential. But potential is wasted if not cultivated. Alex, you're going to learn that presence is everything. And sometimes, the lessons require full commitment." My pulse quickened. "Full commitment?" I asked, voice barely steady. Her lips curved in a slow, deliberate smile.
"Yes.
You will wear them more often. Not as a whim, not as curiosity, but as training. Presence, posture, awareness. Everything you are, everything you will become, can be refined, molded, strengthened by learning this way." I swallowed hard, realizing she wasn't joking. And in that moment, I knew my life had already shifted irreversibly. I took another step, wobbling slightly, and Veronica's hand lightly steadied my elbow. "Tomorrow," she said softly, "you will arrive already dressed properly. Heels, posture, presence. Don't disappoint me, Alex." My stomach lurched. My pulse raced. My world had already tilted, and I had no idea how far it would go. The next morning, I woke with a mix of dread and strange anticipation. My alarm had barely gone off when thoughts of Veronica's words flooded my mind. Heels, posture, presence. The repetition of it over and over created a pulse of anxiety and curiosity. I had never imagined that my life could be so directly influenced by someone else's vision of control. I dressed carefully, selecting a blouse Veronica had suggested the previous evening's soft fabric, precise fit, emphasizing posture without being too obvious. I slipped on the black heels she had pointed out, heels high enough to challenge my balance but low enough to prevent disaster. Each step toward the office felt like stepping into a new identity, a persona that I wasn't sure fully belonged to me yet, but already seemed to claim space within. Veronica was waiting when I arrived, heels clicking authoritatively as always. Her expression was calm, but the sharpness in her eyes reminded me that every movement, every gesture, every glance would be evaluated. "Alex," she said, voice measured, "let's begin." She guided me through simple movements, first standing, walking, turning, adjusting posture. The repeated motions were exhausting, but there was a strange satisfaction in each correction, each adjustment. My body learned slowly, muscles stiff at first, then gradually supple, my balance improving with each deliberate step. Then came the observation. Veronica circled me, hands behind her back, eyes scanning from every angle. "Heels are not just footwear," she said softly but firmly. "They teach awareness,
Posture.
presence, and those who can master them command attention without even speaking." I nodded, swallowing hard, feeling the intensity of her gaze settle into my bones. Each click of my heels became a declaration. I am present. I am aware. I am transforming. Suddenly, she placed a small challenge before me, a stack of files tipped slightly on the edge of her desk. "Walk across the room and pick those up. Smoothly. Maintain balance. Do not falter." My heart raced. The task seemed trivial in words, but the combination of the heels, the blouse, the weight of expectation, and Veronica's watchful gaze made it a precise test of control. Step by step, I moved, adjusting micro-movements in my hips, subtly engaging core muscles, aligning shoulders. Heels clicked, blouse shifted naturally, balance maintained. "Interesting," Veronica murmured. "Most would stumble under such layered pressure. You are showing promise. But training is only beginning. Presence is not a moment. It's sustained. Every second, every gesture, every step must communicate control and awareness." The hours blurred as she pushed me through exercises, adjustments, walks, and pauses. Each moment built upon the last, transforming awareness into embodiment. My legs ached, my back stiffened, yet a strange thrill coursed through me. The realization that every action, every posture, every deliberate step was molding not just how I moved, but who I was becoming. Then came the final test of the morning. Veronica instructed me to stand on a small platform in the center of the office. "Balance, poise, confidence. I want to see control under observation, Alex. Maintain presence for the next 5 minutes while I assess every motion. One mistake, one falter, and we start over." 5 minutes felt like an eternity. Every micro-adjustment became a battle of focus. Heels clicked softly as I shifted weight slightly, adjusted posture, and held gaze forward. Sweat beaded on my forehead, yet I held steady. The office seemed to fade around me, leaving only my body, my awareness, and the ever-present, watchful gaze of Veronica. When she finally nodded, a subtle smile appearing, I exhaled a breath I hadn't realized I was holding. "Good," she said softly. "You are beginning to embody what I expect. But Alex, the real test comes next. Evening exercises. Extended time in full posture and heels. And that will not be easy." As I lowered myself from the platform, still feeling the aftershock of tension, Veronica's eyes met mine, sharp and deliberate. "Tonight," she said, voice calm but edged with authority, "you'll stay in the office longer than usual, fully dressed, fully aware, fully accountable. Are you ready for that, Alex?" My stomach lurched, pulse racing, and I realized that the transformation I had only begun would be pushed far beyond anything I had imagined. Evening arrived with a weight that seemed almost tangible. The office, usually quiet after hours, felt alive with tension as I followed Veronica into the space. She had prepared a series of exercises that tested posture, balance, and presence under prolonged scrutiny. My heels clicked against the polished floor with every deliberate step, each sound echoing authority, exposure, and expectation. Veronica stood across the room, observing, expression calm yet critical. "Alex," she said, voice low but firm, "you've managed simple movements well, but endurance is another challenge. Presence is not static, it's sustained. Every second you falter, every moment you hesitate, will reveal weaknesses. Do you understand?" I nodded, swallowing hard. "Yes, I understand." The first exercise was deceptively simple. Walk across the office while carrying a tray of files, stopping at predetermined spots, adjusting posture, pausing, then continuing. Yet under the pressure of heels, blouse, and Veronica's watchful eyes, it became a test of endurance, awareness, and composure. Each step demanded micro-adjustments, balance corrections, and conscious control of every muscle. Veronica circled me silently, occasionally offering subtle corrections. "Shift your weight here, straighten that shoulder, lower your gaze slightly while maintaining posture." "Excellent, but attention to detail must be constant." After multiple repetitions, I felt muscles ache in ways I hadn't expected. The faint throb in my calves, the burn in my lower back, the tension in my shoulders all were constant reminders of the transformation taking place. But something deeper was occurring. My mind, my focus, my awareness was sharpening. Every motion felt deliberate, every glance purposeful, every breath intentional. Then she introduced a challenge I hadn't anticipated, a minor obstacle course. Chairs slightly askew, scattered papers, a tipped-over trash bin. My task: navigate the office, maintain balance, posture, and presence, and deliver files to specific locations without faltering. I stepped carefully, heels clicking, hips adjusting, hands steady, eyes forward. Every minor disturbance, the creak of a chair, the brush of fabric against my arm, the soft shuffle of a paper required instant recalibration. Sweat beaded on my forehead, yet I maintained composure, fully aware that Veronica's gaze measured everything. "Good," she said after several tense minutes, "but endurance is not enough. Presence under unpredictability is the true measure of mastery. Tonight, you will stay fully dressed in this attire for the rest of your shift. Heels, blouse, presence, every second will be evaluated." My heart pounded. I realized that this wasn't just training. This was transformation under pressure, physical, mental, and emotional. Each step, each adjustment, each deliberate breath reinforced not just posture, but identity. Hours passed. My body screamed with fatigue, yet I held position, adjusted constantly, and maintained poise. Veronica occasionally circled, silently observing, occasionally nodding, occasionally whispering corrections. By the end, exhaustion was profound, but there was a strange exhilaration in the control I had maintained, the awareness I had achieved. Then, just as I thought the session was over, Veronica's voice cut sharply through the tension. "Alex, there's one final observation tonight. A visitor will arrive. Someone who will assess your presence, your poise, your ability to embody this transformation under scrutiny. Are you ready?" My pulse spiked. I realized that tonight, every ounce of control, every second of awareness, every skill I had learned would be tested not just by exercises, but by someone entirely new, unpredictable, and evaluative. Veronica's eyes locked onto mine. "Prepare yourself. This visitor will decide if you are truly ready to embody everything I expect." I froze, heels clicking softly on the floor, heart racing, fully aware that my transformation was about to face its first real test beyond her controlled guidance. The office was dimly lit now, the overhead lights softened, casting long shadows across the polished floor. My heels clicked softly, echoing with every deliberate step I took. Each click reminded me of Veronica's watchful gaze, of her constant insistence on presence, posture, and awareness. But now, an added tension weighed on me, the anticipation of a new visitor, someone who would test everything I had learned so far. The door opened quietly, and a figure stepped inside. I hadn't seen them before, but the aura of authority and scrutiny was immediate, palpable. They paused, surveying the room, their eyes scanning every detail, not just me, but the space itself, the objects, the subtle adjustments in positioning. Veronica stepped forward, voice calm but carrying authority. "Alex," she said softly, "this is Jordan. They will observe your presence, your balance, your composure, and your ability to maintain identity under scrutiny. Treat this as an evaluation. Every gesture, every movement, every step counts." Jordan's gaze shifted to me. It was sharp, analytical, almost measuring. "I've heard a lot," they said, voice neutral but edged with curiosity. "Let's see if the reputation matches reality." I swallowed hard, adjusting my posture instinctively, letting my shoulders fall back, aligning my spine, and planting my heels firmly against the floor. The blouse shifted subtly as I moved, but I maintained poise, every step deliberate. "Walk to the center," Jordan instructed. "Carry this folder with both hands. Deliver it to the desk across the room.
Smoothly.
No faltering. Presence must be maintained throughout." My heart raced, but I forced calm. Step by step, heels clicking, I moved. Each adjustment in balance, each subtle sway, every micro-correction of posture became deliberate, almost automatic. Jordan's eyes followed, scanning, noting, analyzing. "Interesting," Jordan murmured. "Most would falter under simple observation. Yet your composure, while good, is not enough. Presence must be asserted, not merely maintained. Authority is felt, not just seen." I froze slightly, absorbing the challenge. Every instinct in me screamed caution, but I knew hesitation was visible, weakness perceptible. I straightened my chin, exhaled slowly, and took deliberate steps toward Jordan, hands holding the folder firmly, balance precise, movements intentional. Veronica watched silently from the side, expression unreadable. Her presence was both reassurance and reminder that failure was not an option. Every adjustment I made was mirrored in her subtle nods, yet every micro-fault would not be tolerated. Then Jordan introduced an unexpected disruption, a small chair tipped slightly across my path. I felt the familiar spike of adrenaline, yet I adjusted instinctively, shifting weight, micro-correcting balance, ensuring heels clicked deliberately with each movement. The folder remained steady in my hands, posture intact, eyes forward. Jordan's lips curved slightly, a subtle acknowledgement of skill, but their eyes remained critical. "Good," they said. "But adaptability under surprise, under pressure, and under observation, that is the true test. Are you prepared to continue?" I nodded, pulse racing. Every nerve in my body was alive, every muscle tense, yet controlled. I realized that this wasn't merely about heels, posture, or presence, it was about identity. Every adjustment, every deliberate step, was reinforcing a version of myself I had never fully known until now. Just as I delivered the folder flawlessly, a sudden noise from the hallway, deliberate, sharp, and unexpected, echoed through the office. All eyes turned. Veronica's voice cut softly but sharply, tinged with warning. "Alex, this is your moment. Every skill, every lesson, every ounce of composure will be tested in the next challenge. Are you ready to face it?" I froze, heels clicking faintly on the floor, realizing that the ultimate trial of endurance, balance, and identity was about to begin. The sharp noise from the hallway left the room suspended in tension. My heart raced, heels clicking softly as I instinctively adjusted posture, micro-corrected balance, and steadied the folder in my hands. Every fiber of my being screamed that this was no ordinary challenge, this was deliberate, orchestrated to push me to the edge of endurance and awareness. Veronica's gaze was calm but intense, a silent command that I must remain poised. Jordan's eyes, sharp and analytical, tracked my every movement like a measuring rod, waiting for any lapse. I realized that tonight was no longer about simple obedience or learning movements. It was about asserting identity under chaos, presence under pressure. "Alex," Veronica said softly, voice carrying authority, "this is the ultimate evaluation of tonight. Presence, posture, awareness, composure, all must be maintained despite unpredictability. Are you ready?" I inhaled slowly, letting every muscle align, every micro-adjustment become instinctive. "Yes," I whispered, almost to myself. A small group of additional figures appeared suddenly from the shadows, coworkers I hadn't seen since earlier hours, each tasked with subtle disruptions, nudging objects, creating unexpected sounds, shifting positions. Their presence multiplied the pressure, yet every step I took, every adjustment I made, every deliberate gesture reinforced the training Veronica had instilled. I navigated the office carefully, heels clicking with precise rhythm, blouse brushing naturally against my arms, posture aligned perfectly. Each observer introduced minor, unpredictable changes, papers falling, chairs slightly moved, a soft shuffle behind me, but I responded instantly, micro-adjusting without falter. Jordan's voice cut sharply. Alex, maintain presence.
Do not just react.
Anticipate. Assert authority through composure. Show that identity is fully integrated, not superficial. I froze for a heartbeat, then exhaled slowly, stepping forward with deliberate grace. My gaze swept the room, acknowledging every figure without distraction, projecting presence, poise, and confidence. It was exhausting, physically and mentally, yet there was an exhilarating sense of empowerment in maintaining control under layered pressure. Veronica circled me slowly, observing silently. Excellent, she murmured. You're learning more than posture and balance. You're learning to own space, to command awareness. But endurance, Alex, endurance under chaos will define whether this transformation is complete. Hours stretched on. Every step, every micro-adjustment, every click of my heels became a declaration. I am present. I am aware. I am fully in control. The office became a stage of subtle challenges, unpredictable movements, and constant scrutiny. Fatigue pressed against me, yet I pushed forward, embracing the transformation that had begun with curiosity and now demanded total presence. Just when I thought I had endured the maximum, a deliberate, loud crash erupted from the hallway. A stack of files knocked to the floor. My pulse spiked, muscles tensed, yet I adjusted seamlessly, picking up the fallen papers while maintaining posture, balance, and authority. Jordan's eyes narrowed. Very good, they said softly. But the final measure is coming. A scenario designed to test identity under extreme scrutiny and unpredictability. You will face it immediately. Are you prepared? Veronica's voice was calm but sharp, tinged with anticipation. Alex, the next moment will determine if you have fully embraced your transformation. One misstep could undo everything. Are you ready? I froze, heels steady, pulse racing. From the doorway, a figure stepped in, unknown, deliberate, and clearly ready to challenge every skill I had learned tonight. I realized in that instant that the ultimate test of my new identity was about to begin. The figure in the doorway paused, silhouette framed by the dim hallway light. My heart raced, heels clicking softly as I instinctively adjusted posture, shoulders back, chin lifted. Every step, every micro-adjustment, every deliberate breath was magnified under the scrutiny of Veronica, Jordan, and now this unknown evaluator. You've done well so far, the figure said, voice calm but carrying authority. But presence under observation is not enough. Can you maintain identity under direct challenge? Veronica's gaze met mine, sharp yet encouraging. Alex, this is it. Everything you've learned tonight, the balance, the posture, the awareness must be executed flawlessly. One falter, and we start over. I swallowed hard, gripping the folder tighter, and exhaled slowly. Each click of my heels echoed through the quiet office, deliberate and controlled, every movement a conscious declaration. I am present. I am aware. I am in command. The unknown evaluator circled, deliberately shifting objects in my path, files, chairs, a small desk stack, forcing microcorrections in balance and posture. Each adjustment tested not only my physical control but my mental focus, my ability to maintain composure under pressure. Jordan's voice cut in softly, almost a whisper but sharp. React with authority, Alex. Do not merely adjust. Command the space through presence. Let identity speak through posture, balance, and awareness. I moved carefully, yet confidently, negotiating every obstacle, correcting balance subtly, adjusting my shoulders, hips, and gaze. The blouse brushed naturally, heels clicked in perfect rhythm, and each motion radiated authority I hadn't known I could project. Hours seemed to compress into minutes. Each challenge increased in complexity, multiple obstacles, unexpected sounds, shifting lights, yet I maintained poise. My pulse raced, adrenaline surged, yet I felt an unfamiliar thrill, the sensation of fully inhabiting this new version of myself, aware, present, and commanding. Then the final evaluator stepped closer, deliberately dropping a set of files in my path. The sudden, sharp noise jolted me, but I adjusted instantly, heels clicking, posture intact, eyes forward. The moment felt decisive, almost ceremonial, a test of identity under extreme scrutiny. Veronica's hand rested lightly on my shoulder, grounding me. Alex, this is the apex. Everything depends on how you respond. Do not falter. I took a deliberate breath, every fiber in my body aligned, every adjustment instantaneous. Step by step, I moved forward, balancing, correcting, asserting presence with every motion. I felt the strange, empowering realization that this was no longer practice, it was embodiment. I was no longer just Alex the employee. I was Alex the presence, Alex the poised, Alex fully aware of every movement and its impact. The evaluator stopped, tilting their head, analyzing every detail. My pulse surged. The room held its collective breath. A sudden, deliberate movement from the evaluator, a nudge of a chair. A soft, sharp sound tested my balance to the extreme. I froze, heels clicking faintly, pulse racing, realizing that this single moment could define everything, my transformation, my presence, my identity. Veronica's whisper cut through the tension. Alex, show them who you truly are. One step, one decision, and it all changes. The evaluator's subtle nudge of the chair sent a ripple of tension through the room. My body instinctively tightened, muscles engaging with micro-precision to maintain balance. Heels clicked deliberately against the polished floor as I adjusted, redistributing weight, engaging core muscles, and aligning shoulders. Focus, Alex, Veronica whispered, calm yet insistent. Presence is more than posture, it's awareness, control, and command. Let every movement convey certainty. I took a slow, deliberate step, navigating the space as if it were a stage. Each motion was intentional, measured, conveying authority without arrogance, composure without stiffness. Every slight sway of the hips, every micro-adjustment of the shoulders, and each subtle tilt of the head radiated presence. Jordan circled me, voice low but incisive. Impressive, but endurance under layered pressure is the true test. Multiple challenges, simultaneous distractions, can you maintain identity when everything is unpredictable? Immediately, the evaluator introduced the next trial. Multiple obstacles appeared: a tipped-over chair, scattered files, and a subtle misalignment in the lighting. The task was simple in words: navigate the office, maintain balance, posture, and composure, while carrying a stack of folders. The execution, however, demanded full attention, instinctive adjustments, and precise micro-movements under the intense scrutiny of 3 critical observers. I stepped carefully, heels clicking, arms steady, gaze forward. Each step was a delicate negotiation, slightly altering the angle of my foot, micro-shifting weight, adjusting spine alignment, and subtly correcting the blouse's drape. Every minor disturbance was met with instantaneous correction. Excellent, Veronica murmured. But presence is more than adaptation, it's projection. You must assert identity without falter, even when chaos surrounds you. Own the space, Alex. Own yourself. Hours of meticulous practice and observation had honed my body, but now my mind was fully engaged. I anticipated minor shifts before they occurred, adjusted preemptively, and maintained composure. My heels clicked rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat, each step asserting awareness, confidence, and poise. The tension in the room escalated. Every shadow, every sound, every subtle movement became a test. Then the evaluator spoke softly, deliberately. The final assessment begins now. One misstep, one hesitation, and the moment resets. Show mastery under unpredictability, and you prove full transformation. I froze for a heartbeat, then exhaled. With deliberate calm, I navigated the obstacles, carrying the folders with steady hands, heels clicking in perfect rhythm, posture impeccable. Every micro-adjustment, every conscious breath, every subtle glance conveyed total awareness and control. Veronica's hand rested lightly on my elbow, a subtle reminder of guidance, yet signaling trust. I felt a surge of empowerment, a strange thrill of realizing that I had truly embodied the lessons of the night. Just as I reached the final set of folders, a sharp movement behind me, a sudden shift of lighting and sound threatened to disrupt balance. Heels clicked faintly, pulse raced, and I realized that this was the ultimate defining moment. One step, one decision, and my transformation could either be fully recognized or collapse entirely. Veronica's whispered words echoed in my mind. Alex, now. Show them who you truly are, or everything resets. The sudden shift in lighting and sound sent a jolt through the room. Every fiber of my body tensed instinctively. Heels clicked sharply against the polished floor as I adjusted, redistributing weight with micro-precision, aligning shoulders, engaging core muscles. The stack of folders in my hands felt heavier than ever, as though carrying the weight of every expectation, every correction, every lesson from the night. Veronica's gaze was unwavering. Alex's presence is more than movement. It is identity. Command the space, assert control, and maintain composure under all circumstances. Do not falter. Jordan and the evaluator moved subtly, introducing minor, unpredictable distractions, shuffling papers, shifting chairs, even a faint cough timed to distract. Each incident was designed to test my concentration, balance, and ability to embody the persona Veronica had been cultivating. I inhaled slowly, every breath deliberate, letting focus sharpen. Step by step I moved, heels clicking in rhythm, each motion deliberate. Micro-adjustments of the hips, subtle corrections of posture, controlled tilts of the head all combined to project authority, awareness, and control. Veronica circled me, silently observing, occasionally giving subtle nods of approval. Good, but adaptability and assertiveness must coexist. Do not merely react, proactively engage with the space, own the movements, assert identity through every gesture. The evaluator stepped forward, subtly tipping a stack of files toward the floor. My pulse spiked. One wrong move, one falter, could undo everything. Yet I adjusted instinctively, tilting slightly, shifting weight, keeping the stack upright, posture intact, heels steady. The room seemed to hold its breath. Jordan's low, deliberate voice cut through the tension. Alex's presence is mastery over unpredictability. Identity is proven in these moments. Are you ready to assert it fully? I exhaled, focusing on rhythm, balance, and projection. Each step became a statement. I am present. I am aware. I am fully myself. The exercises, disruptions, and hours of training had coalesced into this singular moment of empowerment. Suddenly, the final obstacle, a deliberately tipped chair paired with scattered papers, loomed ahead. My gaze met Veronica's, then Jordan's, then the evaluator's. Every eye in the room was on me, every movement scrutinized. With a deliberate, steady step, I navigated the final challenge. Heels clicked with authority, posture flawless, gaze forward, hands steady. I felt a surge of exhilaration, exhaustion intertwined with empowerment as I reached the end of the course, standing tall, unshakable, fully aware, fully present. The room remained silent for a heartbeat. Then Veronica exhaled softly, a small, approving smile touching her lips. Alex, you have done it. Tonight, you have proven that presence, posture, and identity can be fully embodied under pressure. Just as relief began to wash over me, a subtle, deliberate knock echoed from the office door. Everyone froze. Veronica's eyes narrowed slightly. Alex, she said, voice low, charged with tension, the true challenge has only just begun. Are you ready for what's waiting on the other side of that door? My pulse raced. Heels clicked faintly on the floor as I approached, realizing that even after tonight's trials, the next chapter of transformation and testing was about to begin. The knock echoed again, deliberate, authoritative, and impossible to ignore. My heels clicked sharply on the polished floor as I approached the door, each step carrying both anticipation and dread. Every lesson from the evening balance, posture, presence was suddenly put to the ultimate test. Veronica stood beside me, calm but watchful. Alex, everything you've learned tonight, every adjustment, every controlled movement, it's all preparation. Beyond this door lies a scenario designed to challenge the very identity you've been shaping. Are you ready? I swallowed hard, palms slightly trembling, but nodded. I'm ready. The door opened slowly, revealing a conference room bathed in soft light. Inside, a small audience of colleagues I had never seen lingered, each observing silently, their eyes subtly judging, evaluating, measuring presence. The space was arranged deliberately, chairs slightly askew, a few scattered files, a raised platform in the center. Everything about the room demanded awareness, balance, and poise. Alex, Veronica said, stepping aside, this is your final stage. Move through the room, navigate obstacles, and present yourself with confidence. Every gesture, every glance, every step counts. Remember, presence is identity. I inhaled, feet firmly in heels, posture straight, spine aligned. Every movement I had practiced over the evening flowed into instinctive adjustments. Step by step, I navigated the room, correcting micro-errors, adjusting balance, projecting authority, awareness, and poise. Whispers of approval from Jordan and Veronica encouraged me, yet the tension remained. Each minor distraction, a chair slightly shifted, a stack of files tipping, a sudden cough was met with instantaneous correction. My focus sharpened, every sense heightened, my identity as someone fully aware, fully present, fully transformed emerging clearly with each deliberate step. As I reached the raised platform, I paused. Eyes on the audience, posture perfect, shoulders back, chin high, heels clicking with authority. For a moment, the room held collective breath. I felt exhilaration, exhaustion, and empowerment intertwined, proof that the transformation was not superficial, but deeply internalized. Veronica stepped forward, a small, approving smile on her lips. Alex, tonight, you have shown mastery over presence, posture, and identity. You have transformed curiosity into command, observation into embodiment, and learning into presence. But just as I began to relax, the lights dimmed subtly, and a new, unexpected figure entered from the shadows, someone familiar, yet whose presence added immediate tension. My pulse surged. Veronica's eyes narrowed, voice low but charged with meaning. Alex, your journey is not over. This is only the beginning. The real test, the one that defines everything, is waiting. Are you ready for it? I froze, heels clicking faintly on the floor, realizing that even after mastering every challenge, even after proving presence, balance, and poise, the story wasn't finished. My transformation was complete, but the ultimate trial had yet to begin. If you enjoyed Alex's journey, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more suspenseful, transformative stories. Bells sparkles. And remember, the next story will challenge identity, presence, and courage like never before. Stay tuned.